Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Please state your name.
My name is Pierre.
Okay. I just wanted to ask you a couple of questions regarding child support and things like that. How many children do you have?
Two.
Two. Same mom?
Yes.
Okay. Are you still with the mom?
No.
How has it been co-parenting?
I mean, it's difficult. I mean, it's not easy trying to do it. I mean, we're cool, we're amicable, but I think it puts a weird burden on the children from going from one place to the next. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to parenting discipline. You know, you need two people to uphold something. So, you know, it's when one person is busy, usually you have one person at home to try to maintain the child rearing, but it's a little difficult now.
How do you feel about child support?
I'm for it for those who don't give. I mean, but for those who give, I don't think it was made for them. For the, you know, the parents that got the kids on their insurance, you know, the dads that grind every day, get their kids whatever they need, all that type of stuff. I think it was made for the non-present fathers, not the present fathers.
How do you feel it affects the children when the father's not living in the household with them?
I mean, it's a big impact. I mean, I think they tend to be more distant because more times moms have the children more than the fathers do. And like for my kids, it's good. You know, I try to maintain. I work real hard to keep our relationship going. But at the end of the day, you know, I see that disconnect sometimes. They don't want to hit you up. They don't want to call you. It's like you always constantly have to make that initiation.
How do you feel about DNA testing? Do you think it should be mandatory at birth?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, nowadays, we live in an era of massive deception. Nobody's honest with anything. You know, the whole Chris Brown, the grass is greener. I think everybody's trying to live it, and some ladies today feel like they're missing out. So, I mean, you never know when somebody's going to hop over the fence and then hop right back over and act like everything's cool. And that's on both genders.
What do you feel about paternity fraud? Do you think it should be punishable by the law?
That's a difficult one because the thing is, I think personally, it's the way I would look at it is this: if someone had an STD and they gave it to you, and they knew they had an STD, you think they should be punishable by the law? It applies.
Okay.
It's the same thing with having a kid. Now you're gonna have somebody spend hard-earned resources and energy when you could have just told them, hey, look, I'm not sure this is yours, but if you want to continue this, we can work on us. And if you want to take care of this, then fine. But I don't like the whole deception thing. I said, look, just give somebody the option. You'll be surprised how many dudes out there can't have kids or who want kids, want a family, never grew up in a family. But I mean, for you to just out there and just say, hey man, you know, you just gonna take care of this, even though it's probably could be your whole little brother that you raised.
True.
Because you know, the stories be out there. You know, some guys, some ladies, they feel vengeful. They want to go to daddy. They may want to go to your brother, your homeboy. I'm not cool raising somebody else's kids without my knowledge. Me personally, I ain't cool. Now, if I know ahead of time, let me make that decision.
Do you think, okay, when we say it should be punishable by the law, you think it should be jail time or like fines, like reimbursement of funds, or?
I think it's dependent on how long the deception went on for. I mean, you gotta understand, like, it's hard raising a kid. I mean, for anybody. It's a lot of energy, a lot of time, a lot of resources that go into it. Kids need food, kids need clothes. I mean, I don't really think it's jail time because jail time ain't gonna do nothing but put more of a burden on that parent and that kid. I think it should be more of a fine. Just like child support, they should put these women on child support. Reimburse me all of my money. Yeah, I threw you off with that one.
Okay, so why do you think that men shy away from like family court or fighting for their kids or being present? Like, why do they not want to go to court and just maybe get partial custody or something like that? Why do men not do that?
It's you know, I know a little bit about the justice system, and based on what I see and the people I interact with, you know, a lot of guys are not winning in the court system. It's very impartial. People don't want to go to court. They don't want to do all these things, because they're not going to win. They're just not going to win. I mean, it's not. It was made primarily to help the ladies out there for the guys who were leaving. Now, it wasn't really made for the guys that were staying, or the ones that want to make an effort to have that relationship with their kids, or maintain a good positive relationship with their mother, the child's mother.
But is it like impossible to work something out with the parent? Okay, I understand that some men don't want to go to court because they feel like they're going to lose the situation. Is it that difficult to communicate with the mother of the children to work something out?
I mean, yes and no. It's super difficult because of the fact that, well, hold on, let me back this up a little bit. It comes down to the point of who you have a child with. A lot of people may be with somebody and it's just a fling, and these people end up being their child's mother. They have no communication skills whatsoever outside of the whole physical. They don't know each other. And then before you know it, you have a whole conflict of personality. Now you got a kid into the mix. So now you got to put into the fact, now I got to get to know you, and on top of that, we got to communicate in order to raise this kid. And some guys just don't want to go through that drama, especially you know some of these ladies be like, oh well, you did this to me, you're responsible for it, you had to do this and this and that. Guys don't want to be. Unfortunately, guys want peace before anything else. And me having to go, the first thing look, I'm gonna give you a small story. It's gonna be small and quick. There was a guy I met. I guess his kid was wilding out. The mother called him over to his house. He went over there, and he broke the kid's PlayStation because he was being disrespectful to everybody. You want to know what this mother did to him? Why'd you break it? She's chastising the father in front of the kid. Now he's like, then why'd you call me over here then? Now mom and dad is going at it when it wasn't even about them. It was about the kid. And then she's like, you know what? You ain't gonna have your kid this weekend. And now this man comes to me and he's like, you see what I'm saying, man? The kid is automatically predispositioned to side with his mom. Because who does he spend more time with? And at the end of the day, they didn't come up with the whole, sons love their mothers for no reason. It's because they spend more time. You get to have that bond with your mama. But now, your dad's barely there. You see how your mom be treating your dad. Now that respect for him just drops. And the thing about it, that's what I'm trying to say, you gotta be careful. It starts with who you decide to lay down with and have a child. Make sure that when you do the deed, or even if you have an accident, it's somebody that you could possibly work with. Because unfortunately, and it goes vice versa. If you having a kid by, the neighborhood scammer ain't gonna be that loyal dude. You're gonna have to compete with him and his side girls and whatever. And are you able to handle that jealousy? Are you able to handle him not being there for your kid? Because a lot of women will be vengeful for some guys that they feel should be there, but never wanted the kid to begin with. Now, whose fault is it? You see, there it goes. It's the chicken or the egg. But you already knew what you were jumping into. So that's why I try to tell people, it starts from the beginning. Pick the right partners on who you want to invest your time with, and potentially a lifetime with. Because even if you're not with that person, you still got to raise that kid for a lifetime.
Which was actually my next question. I was going to ask you, do you have any advice for the young men that are coming up when they're deciding to choose who they're going to procreate with so they can avoid some of these problems?
Yeah. I tell people all the time, don't follow the flex culture, man. Today we live in an era where they tell you, you know, these chicks are B's and H's and 304s. If you know what the 304 is, yeah. That's not the way to be. You know what I mean? You gotta have respect. The same way, you know, back in the day, you had to go meet your girl's brother, her mama, her daddy. I'm not trying to tell you to do that every single time, but at least have some level of respect for the person you want to lay down with. That way, if things don't work out, you guys can still make it work out. Like I said, the hype right now is just trying to, you know, bag as many girls as you can. And on the flip side, you got the ladies being taught by, you know, oh, let's live this independent life. We don't need nobody. It's all about that hot girl summer. But the thing about it is, all these things have an expiration date. And when you're ready to settle down, that's when the problem. Or when you have that accident, because, you know, that's what ends up happening. When things get too good and then, you know, things fall off, that's when you're going to have to deal with the repercussions of that. And that's why I want to tell these young dudes, just be careful who you lay with. And the ladies, the same thing.
Any last words? Last words? You did just sum it up, though.
Nah, only last words I got to say is just educate yourself, man. Keep your mind, keep your wisdom up. And that's it. That's the best thing in this world. A lot of people don't understand the power of knowledge. Gain that wisdom. They used to call them old heads, but you know, they were old heads for a reason, because they're the ones that been there, done that. In this day and age, you know, in this day and age, I want, you know, listen to your elders, man. You'd be surprised what you can learn.
Okay, thank you so much, Pierre.
Peace.
Bye.